Good morning, everyone. Depending on where you are, good afternoon, good evening. This is Sunday, February 28th, 2021, the last day of February 2021. And we are live to talk about immigration to Canada, recent developments, and also answer any questions you have. My name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I've been teaching immigration consulting in the past 4.5 years, and I have been practicing as an immigration consultant for more than 10 years. I received my license in January 2011, and I'm the author of this book, 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada. This has been identified as a bestseller book by Amazon.ca under the immigration law. If you're interested, you can purchase your copy by visiting any Amazon website or visiting 88tips.ca. And that's pretty much it about me. Now, based on my past experience with these live chats, it takes a while for people to pose their questions. So what I'm going to do is to little bit talk about different aspects of immigration while you will post your questions, and you can pretty much ask any questions. Of course, if they are difficult questions, I will redirect you to private chat or booking a consultation session with me, etc. And I think we have some lighting issues here, so let me turn off, enhance the lighting. Now it's much better. You always need good lighting. Okay, so in terms of immigration, honestly, last week was relatively quiet. We didn't see much of a development from the government of Canada. We had some provinces that they were active in terms of inviting certain people under their programs. For example, Manitoba invited 207 people. And for those of you who don't know, Manitoba is in the heart of the Canada. So if you look at the map of Canada, actually Manitoba is in the middle between the province of Ontario, which is on the east side of Manitoba, and the province of Saskatchewan, which is on the west side of Manitoba. The center of Manitoba, or the capital of Manitoba, is called Winnipeg. If you are familiar with the Winnie the Pooh character, it comes from Winnipeg, and it's a relatively small province in terms of population. Slightly more than 1 million people live in Manitoba. I think 1.3 or 1.4 million people. Most of the population is concentrated in Winnipeg. I used to have an office in Winnipeg back in 2011, a long time ago. But anyways, it has a very active provincial program. Most of the programs by Manitoba are focused on those people who are already in Manitoba and they are either working or studying in Manitoba. And last week they invited 207 people, of those people, mostly of those people, to apply under their provincial programs. Other than that, not much going on. Express entry is silent. As you know, on February the 13th, the government dropped a bombshell by inviting 27,332 applicants under the Canadian Experience class to apply for express entry. This is a huge number. Their website was down for 4 or 5 days. We had difficulty logging in and uploading our clients' files or downloading files. It was a huge mess. But that's the way it is. The government decided to invite as many people as they could. About 90% of those people, they already live in Canada. One of the reasons that the government did that is for the fact that currently, if you want to immigrate to Canada from outside Canada, even if they approve you, you cannot travel to Canada. I'm not saying you cannot, but it's extremely difficult because the exemptions for traveling for those who hold a visa for permanent residency is mostly limited to sponsorship applicants. In other words, if you have sponsored your parents or your spouse or common law partner and they receive their permanent residence visa or their COPR, confirmation of permanent residency paper, they may travel to Canada and join you. But for those people who apply under economic programs, it's very difficult. In many cases, it's impossible for them to travel to Canada. In some countries, it's almost doesn't matter which method it is. For example, I had a client from Australia and he had air tickets to Canada, but Air Canada canceled their air ticket and they couldn't even travel to Canada. So there are some problems going on in terms of moving to Canada, and that's why the focus of the government in terms of immigration has turned towards people who are already inside Canada. We have about 600 to 700 international students that they are already inside Canada. We have about, roughly speaking, about 600,000 temporary foreign workers who are already inside Canada. And obviously, even if the government wants to pick 400,000 from these people, not all of them become permanent residents. We have thousands of people who have already came to Canada and filed for refugee, and they're waiting for their hearings. Actually, May is a very busy week for me because many of my clients have their hearings in May for some reason. And so I'm dealing with those hearings as well. But generally speaking, this means that Canada's focus is mostly on people who are already inside Canada to make them permanent residents. For example, with refugees, if a refugee between March 31st to August 31st, 2020 got involved with healthcare services, and of course, under certain circumstances, they completed 120 hours of work, etc., they can become permanent residents without going through the hearing process, which is an amazing opportunity for some of the refugees. They currently accept applications from them. But if you are outside Canada, the trouble begins. For example, just this morning, one of my clients contacted me and we submitted his work permit application in April 20th, 2020. Think about that. It's more than 10 months ago, and no response from the immigration authorities yet. I have clients that they have almost been waiting for their work permit applications to be processed for 12 months. It doesn't mean that every work permit application takes that long. I actually have a client that we submitted the work permit application on January 26th, and we received the work permit on February 17th. So we're talking about less than 3 weeks of processing for that work permit application. However, my client is a doctor, and she actually is moving to Canada to work in healthcare sector. So that's obviously an expedited process. Even with Hong Kong residents, because now we have some opportunities for Hong Kong residents, but honestly, at least from my side, I have clients from Hong Kong. We don't see much of a movement. And one of my clients from Hong Kong, his case was transferred to CPC Edmonton, case processing center in Edmonton, and they have not been responsive yet. And I have even communicated with them. I sent them a follow-up email, and it took them 2 weeks to get back to us. With overseas offices, some of the overseas offices are overwhelmed with the situation. For example, I see that with New Delhi, it's moving forward so slowly with processing applications. I see the same situation with Ankara, with Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi, it's basically non-responsive to many things. But some of the visa offices are quite active, like Singapore is quite active. So that's a good thing. In some cases, for example, the visa office is almost closed and they don't process applications at all. I have a case in Sydney, Australia, and I communicated with their office in Australia, and they basically told me, and my client's been waiting for processing of her application for the past 15 months. It's a permanent residence application, and she's a citizen of New Zealand. And we submitted the application, I think, in September 2019. And I followed up with Sydney about her application, and they said that right now we only process essential applications. And that means that basically your client's case is not considered essential, so it's not clear when we will even open the application. So if you're submitting an application from outside Canada, expect delays because many of the visa offices are not working properly. Expect extreme delays. And even if they process your application, and even if you manage to travel to Canada, for example, if you receive a work permit, you may travel to Canada and start working in Canada. If you receive a study permit and your school is considered one of those schools that they have a preparedness plan for COVID-19, you may travel to Canada. However, when you travel to Canada nowadays, if you're traveling by air, you need to stay in a hotel for a quarantine hotel for 3 days. And of course, I have an article about the quarantine plans and a video about them. I will post the link below this video after we're done with this live session. And think about that. I mean, you're coming here, you spend a huge amount of money, and you need to stay in a hotel for 3 days. And then after 3 days, you need to continue quarantining for another 11 days, assuming that your test results are negative. Now, there was an unfortunate, actually disgusting incident in one of the quarantine hotels in Quebec, which apparently a gentleman allegedly was going to sexually assault a lady, and she obviously freaked out because he allegedly went to her room and tried to approach her, but she started yelling and he escaped. So these kinds of incidents could happen. I was watching another video in one of the quarantine hotels in Toronto, which people were complaining about the food and services of the hotel, that they were not sufficient. And these kinds of incidents have raised questions by the opposition party of Canada that whether we have to continue offering quarantine hotels or not. Having said that, the quarantine hotels are out there right now. So if you want to travel by air, you have to consider that. It's an extra expense. And for many people, it's very expensive. Just recently, somebody contacted me who is a Canadian citizen and currently in Jamaica, and that person is under financial stress. And he said, I cannot go back to Canada because I cannot afford the hotel. and I'm stuck in Jamaica because it's cheaper for me to stay in Jamaica, which is kind of an interesting twist. Some people who do hold visas to the United States, or they are waived from visas to the United States, they actually travel to the States instead of Canada. And then they drive by car to Canada. They do land crossing to avoid a quarantine hotel. So if you drive by car to Canada, then you still need to self-isolate for 14 days, but you do not need to go to those designated hotels, which saves you probably up to $2,000, and that's a huge savings. I have actually a client who has decided to do that. He's from India. He already holds a visa to the States, so he said, you know what? I'm not going to travel directly to Canada. I will go to the United States and then drive up to Canada. So that's an option that some people pick. So generally speaking, applying for immigration to Canada, or a work permit or a study permit to Canada from outside Canada, it is possible, it is doable. You can submit the application, but expect extreme delays in processing your application. And also expect that when you come to Canada, or if you can come to Canada, because sometimes you need to apply for exemptions to be able to come to Canada. But if you come to Canada, then you need to follow all the protocols in terms of self-isolation, hotel quarantine, and taking a molecular test, a COVID test, in less than 72 hours to Canada, and showing that your test was negative, and also at the airport take another molecular test. So they made it as tough as possible just to discourage people from traveling to Canada. That's what's going on right now. But after that, you're good to go. You become part of the citizens of Canada, just like us. Of course, depending on where you are, I'm in Toronto, and Toronto is under lockdown right now. This means that non-essential businesses are closed. Most of the stores, you can just do curbside pickup. It means you purchase your product online, and then you go to the store and just you pick up your stuff. You cannot go even inside. One of the famous stores here is called Canadian Tire. So if you want to purchase stuff from Canadian Tire, you order your product online, and then you drive to a Canadian Tire that you have picked, which is normally close to your home, and then you stay outside Canadian Tire. There is an online system that you text them through that I'm here standing or parking at spot number 4, and then somebody will bring your stuff to spot number 4. So you cannot even go to the entrance and pick up your stuff. You have to be in your car. With the grocery shopping, the situation is different. You can actually go for grocery shopping in Toronto because the grocery stores are open, but their operating hours is limited. I believe they all of them must close at 8 p.m. So this means that if you're hungry in the middle of the night, you cannot go and buy stuff. And of course, all the restaurants are closed. So it's not a normal situation in Canada. Now that we have lots of vaccines coming to Canada, hopefully we will see some of these restrictions removed. But at this time, we are facing lots of restrictions, and we need to consider that. In terms of parental sponsorship, because probably people ask me every week about parental sponsorship, I have to tell you that there is no announcement by the government when they will run the next draw, but they have announced that they are going to accept 30,000 new applications this year under PGP or Parental and Grandparental Sponsorship Program. So that's a good thing. When they will do it, I don't know. I have several clients lined up for that parental program. So hopefully this time we will receive some response, some good news for our clients when they open the program. And the big issue about parental program is the fact that you need to meet the minimum necessary income requirements. And by minimum necessary income requirements, I'm referring to 30% above a LICO or low income cutoff. And that's a huge amount. You can only refer to your notice of assessment, line 150. I have an article about minimum necessary income because last year everybody's income dropped in Canada. The government reduced the income for 2020 to LICO, not to minimum necessary income. So that's a good thing. It means that in 2020, you need to have less income to be able to sponsor your parents, but you need to show your income for 3 years. So for 2020, 2019, and 2018. In terms of spousal sponsorship applications, the situation is different. The government increased their task force by 66% to make sure that the sponsorship applications are being processed quickly, and they reach again the normal processing time of 12 months. They're still far away from that, but they are doing their best. I submitted, for example, an application for an outside Canada spousal sponsorship to Sydney, Nova Scotia, this central intake office, back on October the 2nd, 2020. And we just received the file number for my client last night. So it took them about 5 months just to issue the file number. Now, how fast they are going to process the application, because the normal processing time is 12 months, I don't know. So we need to wait and see how this will proceed. In terms of the inside Canada cases, for spousal sponsorship, the same situation. With refugee cases, if you're outside Canada, to the best of my knowledge, the government is currently reluctant to do resettlements to Canada. I do not do resettlement. That's outside my scope of practice. I only deal with those refugees that they file for refugee inside Canada. But I've heard from various sources that the government is reluctant to process outside Canada cases. But for inside Canada refugee applicants, it's going relatively well. I mean, you can submit, first of all, for submitting the applications, the way that we deal with it right now, that there is an email address. So we receive information from our clients, we interview them, we prepare the basis of claim and all the documents necessary to submit, like Schedule 12, Schedule A or IMM 0008, everything that needs necessary to be done for the refugees. We prepare the package, we send a simple email to IRCCM, and we inform them that my client is willing to file for refugee. Then they will connect with us. I have an account with Canada Post. It's called ePost Connect. So they will send me a message through ePost Connect, and they ask me to upload all the files and documents. So we upload all the files and documents. They review them. If they want any further explanation or more documents, they will ask for them. So we go back and forth on that system. And then when they're happy that the documentation is submitted and this person is qualified to file for refugee, not they are approved, but they can file for refugee, they send their AOC, or acknowledgement of claim, which is also considered your IFHP or interim federal health care program. It means that from that moment, my client will receive federal health care. And it means that they can go to doctor for free. They can receive many healthcare services for free, and they will also be invited to do their medical examination. So they do their medical examination, and that's it. Now we wait for the hearing. Now the hearing system has changed. So their officers will call me by phone, and they tell me that we want to arrange a hearing for your client. So we come up with a date that I'm available, my client is available, the court has or RPD has a time, and then on the hearing date, we do the hearing online. So we don't actually go to the hearing room, which to some extent is good for my clients because they are in their home, they are in pajamas. Obviously, up here, they need to wear good clothes, but it's more relaxed. Even if we invite witnesses, those witnesses will also attend by through that online system. The online system is monitored by Microsoft, but it's very similar to the Zoom environment, if you are familiar with Zoom. So the court adjudicator or the hearing adjudicator, who is a member of Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada, will be there. I will be there. The counsel for the minister will be there. My client will be there. If I invite any witnesses or the minister's counsel invites any witnesses, they will be there, and they will run the hearing online. And then they decide whether the refugee is eligible or not. And if the court decides, or RPD decides, it's not an actual court, it's a tribunal. So if RPD decides that this person deserves to become a refugee or a protected person, they will issue that. If the minister's counsel does not object to it, that's when my client becomes a protected person. When they become a protected person, then that's the time to apply for permanent residence. And then they apply for permanent residence, and the application will take a few months, but while they are waiting for permanent residence application, they can still continue working in Canada and also use their interim federal health care program to basically free healthcare services. If the court or RPD refuses the application, or if the minister's counsel objects to the positive decision, then the hearing will go to RAD, or Refugee Appeal Division. Then we go there, and the Refugee Appeal Division rarely holds a hearing. They only ask for written arguments by me and the minister's counsel. We submit all those written arguments with any documents that we have, extra documents that we have. Then we submit everything to RAD, and they review the applications, and then based on that, the submission, and they decide whether to approve the case or not. If they approve, then my client becomes a protected person and continues with their permanent residence application. Obviously, if RAD refuses, then they either need to hire a lawyer and file for judicial review, or wait for 1 year and apply for humanitarian compassionate considerations, or pre-removal risk assessment, or PRA. I don't want to go into the details. I have a video about refugee claims. Actually, it has become very popular and many people watch that video. I will post the link below this chat below this video when I'm done with this live session. You can check it out to understand the concept of refugees better. But this is an update to how it is being done right now during coronavirus situation. We have the same thing for immigration appeal cases. For example, I have some cases with the Immigration Appeal Division. These are the cases that their sponsorship application has been refused and now they have filed for appeal, or their permanent residency has been canceled, sorry, not denied, canceled by a visa post outside Canada, or they have been identified not qualified to be a permanent resident by an immigration officer inside Canada. In those situations, we will go to a hearing, Immigration Appeal Division hearing, and we need to present enough documentation to the immigration authorities. And the whole process, again, is online. So I will be there, the court member or the hearing member, IAD member will be there, the adjudicator, the minister's counsel will be there, my client will be there or clients. And if we have any witnesses, those witnesses will be there as well. And then we will discuss how to why we believe that my client deserves permanent residence. Obviously, the minister's counsel tries to say no, they don't deserve, and then eventually the Immigration Appeal Division decides. But the process is online. I'm actually having a hearing in this coming months, an Immigration Appeal Division hearing. So these are the kinds of hearings. The hearings are moving forward in an online basis, which is a good thing. Actually, I don't know if the Immigration Appeal Division or Immigration Refugee Board in the future will consider in-person hearings. They probably will move forward with this option because it's so convenient. Many of their adjudicators shown happiness in this move that everything is online because they stay home and it's more secure for them, and they run the hearings, and it's shown to be effective. I did my first hearing on January the 6th, and I was worried, but it went relatively well, and I'm looking forward to more hearings to move forward. In terms of the other issue, so we don't have any questions today. That's interesting. In terms of, let me make sure I didn't disable chat. Just give me a second. No, chat is enabled. Sorry. Okay. The other issue is that if you are inside Canada and you want to extend your stay, or you want to extend your work permit or file for extension of your study permit, this is probably the best time, because IRCC knows that it is difficult for you to leave Canada. And they also, as I mentioned, for permanent residents, they prefer to help people who are already inside Canada to become permanent residents. And in the past few months, whatever we submitted, we pretty much, and I'm not going to take credit for this, but we had as far as I remember, we had like 100% success rate within Canada cases, not outside Canada cases. Within Canada cases, we have been very successful in terms of extension of visas or stays, or getting visitor records, extension of study permits, extension of work permits, applying for new work permits. So somehow they are very flexible with people who are already inside Canada, which is a great thing. And I'm so happy that it is going like that. Having said that, with outside Canada situations, it's different. And by the way, it doesn't mean that if we are so successful right now, we will be so successful in the near future as well. I don't know. Nobody can predict the future. But right now, they are so flexible in keeping people in Canada. I've had several work permit applications that we submitted, and we requested 3-year extensions, and they were almost granted the 3-year extensions. And in those cases that they didn't issue 3-year extension was because my client's passport was expiring before 3 years. So that's good news for people who are inside Canada. This is the right time to apply for extensions, for visas, for work permits, visitor records, whatever you want. Obviously, you need to meet the requirements. It doesn't mean that you can just throw something and they will refuse or they will approve it. Obviously, the refusal is an option. Somebody just contacted me yesterday, I believe, or this morning, that their postgraduate work permit application was refused because they didn't properly prepare their application. So you have to properly prepare your application. You need to properly submit all necessary documents. But for in Canada cases, they are very flexible. You've probably heard that the government also issues an extra 18 months work permit to postgraduate work permit holders. I had a client that her postgraduate work permit was expiring last month, and we submitted an application for extension, and they almost immediately approved the extension. In less than 2 weeks, they approved an 18 months extension to her work permit. The work permit that she received is an open work permit, which is an amazing option for a person to use, and now she has an agenda. She already has a job offer, so we are in the process of applying for her permanent residence. But when it comes to outside Canada applications for work permits or study permits, the situation is different. As I mentioned, you will face some delays, and I've seen something strange recently in some refusal letters. Not just my clients, some other people who got refused, they could get in touch with us for consultation session, etc. And I've seen that sometimes the immigration officers, they refuse the applications, and on the refusal letter they mention that we are refusing because the financial situation or employment situation in your home country is in shambles. And this means that you basically, if you come to Canada, you want to overstay in Canada, or you may fight for refugees, those kind of things. And they refuse the applications. I've seen some people who got refused their study permits and some work permits under that situation. So my suggestion to all of you is that if you're applying from outside Canada for work permit or study permit, clearly show your current employment status in your home country. Clearly show them that, no, I have a good job, I'm making enough money, etc. Because if you don't, then the officer will refer to that clause and they will refuse your application, which honestly, I don't know if that clause is legally acceptable. I'm hoping that one lawyer in the near future will take the matter to federal court for deciding. But at this moment, before we have a court decision, it looks like that the refusals, some refusals, not necessarily everybody, will be based on the employment situation in the home country of the applicant. And you need to present enough documentation to convince the officer that this is not the case for you. Because, I always make this example. Look at, for example, India. In the middle of Mumbai, this person has a home that is $3 billion. So think about that. Does his situation is relevant to employment situation, for example, in India? No. He is an extremely wealthy person. It's actually the most expensive house in the whole world. Nobody in the United States or in Dubai or in France owns a home like that. So generally speaking, you cannot judge an individual based on the overall economic situation in that individual's home country or the country of residence. However, because the immigration authorities are using that tool against some applicants, I highly recommend that you present as many documents as possible in that area to convince the officers that, yeah, maybe that the situation, economic situation in my home country is not good, but my economic situation is good, and these are the indications of that. And at the same time, sometimes maybe they are mistaken about the economic situation in your home country. So maybe you can show some official reports about the economic situation in your home country and show them that no, we are thriving, everything is okay despite COVID-19. And that will also help you in terms of your claim that you are not going to overstay in Canada. Because remember, when you are applying under any temporary option, whether it is um, visitor's visa, whether it is work permit or study permit. And one of the things that you need to show to the immigration authorities is that by the end of your stay in Canada, you will leave Canada. So when you enter Canada, if the border services officer says to you that you have to leave in 3 months, then you definitely will leave by the end of 3 months. You won't overstay, unless you obviously you can apply for an extension, but I mean you don't have the appetite to break the law. And this is true for visitors records under section 179B of the regulations, for work permits under paragraph 201B, and for study permits under paragraph 216(1)(b). So the officers highly focus on that, and most of the refusals are based on those clauses that I mentioned. So you need to show enough documentations in terms of your emotional ties to your home country, your financial ties to your home country, your job prospects, your travel history. If you already have a visitor's visa to Canada, all those documentation to show to them that no, you deserve a visa to Canada. You deserve, you're not going to break the law. You're not going to do something fishy when you are inside Canada. The other issue that has brought to my attention recently is misrepresentation. A lot of misrepresentation. So let me explain misrepresentation to you. When you are applying to for immigration to Canada, or visa, or study permit, work permit, whatever application you are, any circumstances that you are interacting with the immigration authorities, remember there is something called material facts. Material facts refer to anything that could affect the decision of the officer. The obvious, of course, manifest of material facts are the immigration forms. So when you are filling out the forms, any question on those forms is considered material fact. But on top of that, there are things that they need to know about you to decide whether to issue the visa or not. Now, whether you hide those information from the immigration authorities or you alter them, and I recently made a video about falsifying documents, etc. So if you falsify documents, if you hide documents, if you remove some of the pages of the documents, if you add something to the document to change the meaning of the document, if the translation of your document is incorrect and deliberately is different from the original document to convince the officer to issue the visa, if you don't tell them about a divorce, for example, that affects the document, those kind of things, that affects your application. First of all, if they find you misrepresenting, they not only refuse your application, but they make you inadmissible to Canada for 5 years or 60 months. So if you're inside Canada, the 5 years begin from the day that you leave Canada. If you're outside Canada, is the 5-year begins from the day that you receive the refusal letter. And within those 5 years, you cannot travel to Canada, you cannot apply for immigration, nothing. If you are found inadmissible to Canada for misrepresentation, for the purpose of immigration to Canada, your spouse or common law partner and your children also become inadmissible to Canada. This is huge. Okay, so it means that your spouse cannot also apply for immigration to Canada. Your children cannot apply for immigration to Canada. In terms of the temporary residence, they may apply, but there are some complexities that I don't want to go into the details of. The other issue is that under Section 127 of the Immigration Act, the officer may even pursue criminal offenses against somebody who misrepresents. And just a few months ago, they actually filed for criminal offenses against two gentlemen who came to Canada and filed for refugee by misrepresenting in Montreal. And if convicted, those people have to serve jail for up to 5 years, and they may end up paying fines for up to $100,000. So this is huge, up to 5 years in prison and up to $100,000 in fines, or a combination of both. And that's another thing that could happen. And if that happens, it's not just about 5-year inadmissibility to Canada, that could become an infinite inadmissibility to Canada. And there are other complications as well. Of course, if somebody is inside Canada, they may be removed from Canada. They may face a removal order, which is usually an exclusion order. If they want to come back, they have to apply for authorization to return to Canada. So we're talking about expensive processes and procedures that people go through. If you want to hire me to help you with your misrepresentation case, depending on your case, I may charge you thousands of dollars. So be careful with misrepresenting. And remember, you're an open book with the immigration authorities. Just a couple of days ago, somebody sent us a message. And on the message, the person says that I applied for a visit visa to Canada and my visit visa was refused. Now, if I shut down my online account and create and delete my visit visa online profile, and then create a new profile and apply for study permit, do the immigration authorities know about my visit visa? So in other words, he or she was thinking about hiding the visit visa application. First of all, this is misrepresentation. This is a classic definition of misrepresentation. You need to let them know that your visa was refused. How you will let them know? On either your form you mentioned, depending on the forms that you are filling out, or even yours on your submission letter. Myself, when I have a client whose applications were refused in the past, I clearly mentioned that on my submission letter or on my cover letter. I mentioned that this application was refused. I will even explain that why it was refused and why I think that my client deserves a new visa. So that I take that opportunity to spin the refusal and show that my client deserves a new visa or work permit or study permit. So if you are not open, this is misrepresentation. The second thing that you need to know, even if you try not to mention that, the officer knows. Immigration authorities are using, since I think it was since 2010 or 2011, they are using a database. That database is called GCMS, or Global Case Management System. In the past, they used two different systems. One was FOSS and one was CAPES. CAPES was for outside Canada cases. FOSS was for inside Canada cases. So there were some issues because you could do something outside Canada and they don't know when you were inside Canada, something like that. To avoid any of those, they are now using GCMS. Actually, it's been now, I think, 10 or 11 years that they are using this system. And this system basically is shared between all different sectors of immigration, that is CBSA officers, immigration officers, whether they are inside Canada or if they are outside Canada. So they know as soon as you enter your information, they create something for you called UCI, or unique client identification, and any application that you issue, it is attached to UCI or unique client identification number, and they know your past applications, etc. Now, if somebody cheats and creates a fraudulent identity document or password, etc., that's a different story. But remember, if they find out that you actually fraudulently included documents, then it's not just misrepresentation. In fact, the person could be found guilty under Section 121 of the Act, which is basically document fraud. And the document fraud has up to 14 years in prison in Canada. So this is a significant or serious crime in Canada, that somebody forges documents for the purpose of immigrating to Canada. So don't you even think about that. Of course, it's at the decision makers' discretion how far they want to go with misrepresentation issues. Are they just going to refuse the app? Sometimes they just refuse the application. And in the past, this was the common practice, but recently we see more and more people facing misrepresentation refusals. And when you receive a misrepresentation refusal, you become 5 years inadmissible to Canada. And then on top of that, sometimes they may even go further, as I mentioned about those two gentlemen, that they falsified information to gain refugee status in Canada. They may even go in the direction of criminal offenses. And sometimes they may even, in certain situations, they decide to go in the direction of document offenses. And that could cause a ton of trouble for a person when they are dealing with the immigration authorities of Canada. And remember, if a court in Canada convicts you for criminal offenses, then you could become inadmissible to other countries, especially the Five Eyes, or those countries that are very close with Canada and they share information. I am referring to the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand and Canada. These 5 countries, they are very close with each other in terms of exchanging information. And if somebody is convicted in Canada, then that person could potentially, now I don't know about the immigration laws of those 4 countries, but they could potentially become inadmissible to those countries, and even with other countries, because obviously if they're not delayed, European Union, for example, introduced ESTA system, which is a security clearance visa for even people who do not need visas to go to European Union, for most countries, I believe. And that means that they will make sure that you didn't have any issues with other countries, and having a conviction in Canada could make you inadmissible to European Union as well, and many other countries, Japan, even China, other countries. So be careful in terms of misrepresentation in Canada. This is a huge, huge problem. And in the past, I didn't receive many procedural fairness letters or many refusals on misrepresentation charges, requests by other people. Now, I'm knock on the wood, I'm very lucky so far. I've had only in the past 10 years, I have had only 1 client that found inadmissible to Canada on misrepresentation. And actually, even that client was not initially my client. I took over the case. But it doesn't mean that this trend will continue, because I recently see many people receive letters by the federal government, by the immigration authorities, that they say, we believe that you have misrepresented. Prove to us that you didn't, or what you want to do with this. And obviously, if they do not respond properly, they will found inadmissible to Canada on misrepresentation grounds. I have seen many people who are not my clients also get in touch with me and tell me that either themselves were found inadmissible on misrepresentation, or their spouse or common law partner was found inadmissible on misrepresentation. Just recently, somebody contacted me, and it's so unfortunate. She said that I qualify for permanent residence in Canada, but my spouse is inadmissible on misrepresentation grounds. What should I do? Because now she's inadmissible in terms of immigration to Canada, and she cannot file for immigration right now because of her husband. And this is so unfortunate when we encounter situations like this. And that's why, and as I mentioned, it's very expensive. So if you really stay away from it, I mean it. I have already created a couple of videos, or 3 videos actually, about the concept of misrepresentation. I have written articles about concept of misrepresentation. I will continue creating awareness about this as well. So be careful. And before I let you go, of course you can go at any time, but before I finish this live session, I also want to tell you that when you become famous, I think it has some consequences as well. So I was informed that apparently somebody uses my name in Mexico, and they claim that they are my agent, and they through me they issue work permits for people. Of course, when the actual deal happens, they send them to a bogus website, and they try to empty those poor people's pockets. I have already created a video about this matter. It's called Beware of Work Permit Scam. So be very careful. Remember, if you're outside Canada, the government of Canada never ever sends you your work permit document. Okay, so you never will receive a work permit document from your immigration consultant or immigration lawyer or the government of Canada by mail. Okay, this never happens, or by email. So what you will receive from them, from the immigration authorities, is just an approval letter. So you receive an approval letter that your work permit is approved. Now travel to Canada. Now you travel to Canada, and at the port of entry, a border services officer issues the actual work permit document and gives it to you. So if somebody tells you that, oh yeah, here you go, give me $1,000, $2,000, whatever, and I will give you this work permit, this is not true. This is fake. Okay, stay away from them. Okay, if you're inside Canada and apply for a work permit, that's a different story, because they actually mail the work permit to your address inside Canada, because you don't go through the border. But if you're outside Canada, they will never issue work permits for you. Okay, so please watch my video about beware of work permit scam. I will post a link below this video as well. Share it with other people. We are trying to inform people to be careful not to be abused by people. If somebody uses my name and they tell you that they are my agents, this is not true. I don't have any agents, not a single agent. If anybody says that they are my agents, they are lying to you. Okay. All I have we have a lot of employees in our company, and we have posted their names and their pictures on our website. You can see them, you can know their names. We don't post their emails, etc., just to protect you against fraudulent activities. It is very clear when somebody contacts you from our office. You can double check that with our office to make sure that that person is really related to our office, to make sure they are not abusing you. We have 2 offices. So one of the offices, our main office headquarters, is in Toronto, Ontario. We are in downtown Toronto. We also have a franchised office in Edmonton, who is being run by my good friend David. So he's an immigration consultant, and he deals with those with the cases directly. But he's based in Edmonton. And other than these two offices, there is no office inside Canada or outside Canada that belongs to our company. We don't have any agents outside Canada or inside Canada or any offices outside Canada. So be careful with that. Don't allow people to abuse you. Thank you very much for attending this session. We had surprisingly a large number of people, larger than any time that I've been live, to attend this live session, but no questions in live chat. So I don't know whether the live chat is closed and I'm not aware of it, or nobody had any questions. So good, good. This is the first time I'm having a live session with no questions. So again, for those of you who are just tuned in, my name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I became an immigration consultant in January 2011. I've been practicing independently for the past 10 years. I'm the author of this book, 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada. This has been identified as the bestseller book about immigration to Canada. It's 307 pages. Believe me, if you read this book, it removes lots of confusions about the immigration system in Canada. It doesn't mean that it will answer all your questions. I can write probably 5,000 pages about immigration to Canada, but this is really helpful to have a good grip of what's going on in the immigration world to Canada. You can find this book on any Amazon website. It is available both in print format and Kindle format or ebook format. If you don't know how to find it, visit 88tips.ca. And I can, yes, the live chat is closed. Oh my God. But why is it? Because I enabled live chat. Oh my God, people have asked so many questions and I haven't seen them. So you know what happened? I couldn't see the live chat. I feel stupid. Okay, so let me see if I can quickly answer these questions. Sorry, guys. I didn't really mean to not to answer these. I was wondering why I don't see the questions. Okay, so I will quickly go through. If you are still there, I will go above 1 hour just to answer these questions, okay? So I will just very quickly go through the questions. So Mark says, good morning from Fort Simpson, Canada. Good morning. Ali Reza says, hi, Al. Good morning. Nice to see you. So Ali Reza says, I have a question which I think is very crucial for all the Iranians who want to immigrate to Canada on a student visa. As you know, in Iran, we have two exchange rates that differ significantly. One is government rate and the other is the real rate existing in the market. The bank statement is calculating the funds based on the government rate, but what about the officer? Will be base the decision upon the bank statement, or he is aware of the situation in Iran and decide differently? So they are aware of the situation in Iran. In the past, the bank rate was not that much different from black market rate, but they know that there is a huge difference nowadays. For example, the bank rate right now, one Canadian dollar is about 2,500 Iranian reals, but 2 months, but the real rate is 20,000. So the difference is about 7 times difference, and that's why we have changed our policy since that huge increase in the price of dollar in Canada, in Iran, sorry, and we use the black market rate. And actually, the website that you can refer to is bombast.com. You can refer to that and use that. It is in the best interest of the international students and workers that they use the black market rate instead of using the bank rate, because officers in Ankara, many of them speak Farsi. So they completely are aware of the situation in Iran. Some of them, they are people like me. They are Iranian Canadians that they live there. So is it possible visit Canada next month? So the simple answer is that, of course, if you're exempt from travel exemptions, if you already hold a visa to Canada, the answer is yes. If you are not exempt, you need to apply for exemptions. The exemptions are mostly for family members of Canadian citizens or permanent residents. I have multiple articles and videos about those exemptions. You can watch them. I will try to post them below this video as well. But if you don't hold a visa to Canada and you are not visa exempt, then it is almost impossible to get a visa in 1 month from now, unless special circumstances under COVID-19, which I have explained it in my latest article and slash video about uniting with your family members who are on work permit in Canada. I have explained how you can apply for a TRB under these circumstances. I will also post the link below this video after this video is over. The live session is over. What type of business qualify under IMP code? What's the minimum to open? So this is by Messerville, the business. Does a convenience store qualify to open a store under IMP code 11? So Messerville, if you're still here with us, let me tell you that the IMP is not actually limited to a specific, and by IMP, I assume that you are referring to International Mobility Program Code C11, which is for entrepreneurs and self-employed people. It's not limited to any job sector. However, you need to show that by starting that business in Canada, you create jobs for Canadians, you create opportunities for Canadian businesses. If they are convinced, they issue the visa. You need to consider, of course, the realities of today's market in Canada. For example, the hospitality business is down. So if somebody claims that today I'm going to open a hotel, then think about that. So consider the realities of today. You need to do some thorough research on the business environment in Canada. That's what we do for every single client that we have. We have represented hundreds of, and I'm not joking, this is the reality, hundreds of businesses in Canada to establish their business in Canada, to receive work permits because of those businesses in Canada. And one of the things that we definitely do all the time is researching the market to see if this is even doable. So please provide the details about caregiver pilot program. Is there any possibility to get a job offer? So don't even think about getting a job offer unless you have a close family member here in Canada or a friend. It's almost impossible that you find a job offer. There are some agencies that they are active in finding job offers for caregivers in Canada. I'm not quite sure how legit they are or how they do their job. Honestly, I don't know that area. But finding a job offer as a caregiver in Canada is not easy, if not impossible, unless you are already inside Canada or you have a close relative or family member. So this is for Lalita Pan. However, I have two videos about the process of a caregiver pilot program and the qualifications for caregiver pilot programs. Please check them out. And after I'm done with this video, I will post the links to those caregiver. So let me write down here, to caregiver, misrep, unite. These are the videos that I will post their links below this video for more information. I hope you're well. So this is from Headflow. I was wondering when Canadian Embassy will open in all over the world. So Canadian embassies are open. None of the Canadian embassies, to the best of my knowledge, are closed. Remember that Canadian Embassy does not deal with immigration and visa. It's the visa office. Canadian embassies belong to Foreign Affairs of Canada, which is a completely different department from immigration. They work closely with the immigration authorities, and that's why all the visa posts outside Canada, almost all of the visa posts outside Canada, they are located inside the Canadian embassy. So it's like that the visa office is inside the embassy. So the embassy is open, but the visa post may be closed. or maybe they are not fully working. And it depends on the policies of that specific country. It's very difficult to say which one is fully active, which one is not. As I mentioned, based on my experience, Singapore is fully active. New Delhi is kind of active. Ankara, Warsaw, they are active but semi-active. I have dealt with many other ones that they are kind of working, so I don't want to go into the details. The next one is from Abdul Fattah Mohammadi. I received my Canadian spousal acknowledgement receipt letter from London Visa Office 5th November 2020, but I haven't received any updates yet. Is London office processing the spousal application now? So my suggestion is that you get in touch with them through IRCC web form to see what's going on. So I'm not quite sure if you are receiving, talking about the London office in London, England, or you're talking about the London office in London, Ontario, because we have two offices. But just go on web form and follow up with them. That's what I do. So I have a video about web form. I will post it below this video. You can watch that video. It shows you how to get in touch with immigration authorities and follow up. How much should the sponsor deposit in trust account if I'm the only applicant? My wife is not accompanying me in G5 program sponsorship for refugees. So then, unfortunately, I don't do resettlement, and I don't know the answer to your question. What type of business qualify under IMP code? What's the minimum to open the business? Oh, okay, I talked about this. The next one is from Dense Wait. How much must the sponsor deposit in trust account? Oh, okay, it's the same question. Next one is Faisal Ahmed. I'm an international student in Canada. Can I open a tech business and apply for C11 visa? What will be the minimum fund needs to be done? So Faisal, the simple answer is yes, but get in touch with us privately, because there is a new program by Alberta for students who are entrepreneurs, and that could potentially fit you. That's an amazing program. They just rolled it out just a few days ago. I will soon post an article about it as well, but you can get in touch with us and we can potentially help you to get your work permit and permanent residence through that program. So the next one is my PMP paper is from Muki or Maki. My PMP paper-based files was submitted as an inland, but I'm outside and they are not responding at all now. Is it possible I apply visitor visa and then update them? So for updating them, Muki, you can use the web form, as I mentioned here. Get in touch with them and see what's going on. And because I don't know the specifics of your case, I don't know why you think you have to come to Canada and update them. You can book a consultation session with me and I can tell you what to do specific to your case. But generally speaking, updating immigration authorities is through the web form. It's so easy. My wife is on visitor record. So this is from Yusuf Wopa. My wife is on visitor record visa in Canada with 2 kids. She needs a work visa for up kid. I don't know. How do we go about it? So it depends, Yusuf. It depends on when she was here in Canada, why she is here in Canada, if she has a job offer or not. I think the best way to have an answer for you is that you book a consultation or your wife has a consultation session with me. I will explain the process pertaining to your specific case. So the next question is that, hi, this is from Nkafu Pearl. Hi, Al. I wish I know the best procedure to sponsor spouse when you have misinformation at the level of immigration. So I have some articles about the sponsoring spouses to Canada. I will post the link here below this video, spousal sponsorship. I actually have created some videos as well. You can watch those videos as well. Hopefully you will learn how to do it. Of course, if you want to hire us to do it for you, we will evaluate you. And if you qualify, we will go through the process together. Okay, so the next one is Booty. What's happening to the embassies not issuing visit visa? They are half closed. That's what is happening. The next one is from Zaidi Abdul Udud. Hello, Mr. Parsai. Along your explanation, if I fill a refugee claim before in the US and I provide some documents from the claim, can the board contact USA and check for those paperwork? So simply put, Zaidi, when you apply for a refugee in the United States, it's very likely you are not even qualified to apply for refugee in Canada. And yes, they do exchange information, whether you let them know or you don't let them know. And if you don't let them know, it is misrepresentation. So I highly recommend that you get in touch with a professional, an immigration lawyer, or an immigration consultant. If you consider hiring me, you can get in touch with me for a consultation session. We can review your situation and see what would be the legal way to communicate with the immigration authorities and mitigate your risk as much as possible. So then the last couple of questions is what's the business? Okay, so yeah, I answered this. Any update about Group of Five? I told you I don't do resettlement. I was a student at Ashton having problem to understand family class sponsorship or family class. Can you give me any suggestions? So Ajay, thank you very much for contacting me. I have some videos and articles about sponsorship processes. You can watch the videos, read the articles. Hopefully, they will help you. I'm considering creating a members only YouTube channel that will be more for practitioners, for immigration consultants, immigration lawyers, to explain complex issues regarding immigration to Canada. If that happens, then I will have lots of slides and videos explaining different aspects of immigration to Canada in more legal kind of format, rather than, because the kind of format that I use here, I try to stay away from the law as much as possible and make it very simple. But with those members only sections, I will go delve into the matter, talk about the law, etc. We also deliver some advanced programs through Ashton College. Right now, I'm teaching an advanced program for temporary residents in Canada. And my students, they are immigration lawyers and immigration consultants. And we teach them, complex subjects. So maybe you will see that. Thank you very much, Nexus Canada. Yeah, I'm really, to be honest with you, I just finished my LLM Master of Laws program, and I have to submit my research papers. When I'm done with submitting my research papers, I'm done with the studying. I will hopefully start my channel, my members only channel. And it's not that it's a mysterious kind of thing. I just want to make sure it's a safe environment for immigration consultants and immigration lawyers, that we can exchange information over there. Can you give any discount online for appointment? Yes, I can. If you communicate with info@settler.ca, they will actually, we have an offer for consultation session. You can contact them and they will share it with you. info@settler.ca. What's the next one? Robin Sings, hello sir, what's the processing time for the manager job in British Columbia nowadays? Don't ask anybody about processing time, because nobody can give you the answer, including myself. My agency offered me work as HCA and PSW in hospital or in long-term care facility, in retirement home. Is this occupation fall as caregiver? No, so caregiver, it's mostly the caregiver programs are related to home caregiver programs. It means that you offer your services at the home settings, not at the agency level. However, get in touch with us. We can look into the situation to see if by any chance you qualify. So I'm in Toronto. I try to connect myself with you, but your office asked me to pay consultation fee. That's correct. I don't offer free consultation sessions. Imagine if I offer consultation sessions for free, I have to deal with free services all day long. Believe me, we receive, and I'm not exaggerating, we receive hundreds of requests per day. And if I say, okay, I offer free consultation sessions, I need to spend more than 24 hours per day, which is not possible to offer consultation. So we have to put a price tag to it just to avoid noise. So only serious people contact us. But if you pay the consultation fee, we go through that consultation and we find a common ground and you want to hire us, we will deduct that consultation fee from your retainer agreement. And even if you don't, believe me, in the consultation sessions, you will find it very useful because you have somebody with 10 years of experience, book author, a person who teaches other immigration consultants how to do their jobs. Believe me, I have some people that they actually mentor them. They are active immigration consultants. I mentor them how to do their jobs. So it's up to you, of course. So I'm in Canada. Ashton College. Yes, I'm in Canada from last 10 years. My refugee refused in 2012. Sorry to hear that. So as I mentioned, please get in touch with us with resume job. So we don't just do resumes, but for our work permit applicants, obviously we help them with their resume. So if somebody is there. Okay, so give and take TPD. Yes, please get in touch with us privately. If we can help you, we will definitely try. So again, thank you very much. I went above 1 hour limit of my daily. Sorry, I didn't know that the live chat is now in pop-up. I don't know why is it like this. This is a new situation for me, and now it's completely gone. So anyways, I'm gonna thank you very much for attending this session. My intention is to publish videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we have 3 videos, recorded videos, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We will also continue having our live sessions here on YouTube on Sundays at 10 a.m. EST. Please also get in touch with us through the community channel. Your polls, your responses to the polls really helped me. I was, for example, worried about the number of videos that we publish, but 59% of you told me that you really want 3 videos or more per week. So I will definitely continue that. I asked the live session. So far, 100% they said they want to see live sessions. So I will continue with that. If you communicate with us about this channel, encourage people to join this channel. We have a better voice. I truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you very much, and see you next week.